What if every step you took hurt like hell? What if your body turned to rock or your face changed without warning? This isn't just a video. It's a journey into the souls of 15 unique people you won't believe exist. These are the stories that will break your heart and rebuild it at the same time. From kids with ultra-rare diseases to adults who transform their pain into purpose, this video is a tribute to human strength beyond every logic. So, without any ado, let's get started. Number 15. Donavia Walker. Can't was the word Donavia heard most as a kid. She was born with bilateral amelia, which is a rare condition that caused her to grow without arms. Doctors weren't sure she'd ever be independent, but Donavia didn't just survive. She rewrote the rules. At 16, she was brushing her teeth, doing homework, answering phones, and even driving, all with her feet. But what shocked everyone is that she joined the U.S. military's Junior ROTC program, a training path for future officers. Most didn't think she'd last. Instead, she became one of their top cadets. Her dream is a full military career. Donavia wasn't trying to prove anyone wrong. She was simply proving herself right. Her condition may have shaped her body, but it never touched her discipline, drive, or pride. Watching her lead a squad, you forget she has no arms. You just see a young leader who took everything life handed her and saluted back with her whole heart. Number 14. Michelle Kobka. Well, as a kid, most of us wanted to become a pilot. Michelle Kobka took that dream in a very different direction. We mean, she fell in love with the plane itself. At 37, she's been in a committed physical relationship with a Boeing 737-800 for over 5 years. Well, that's not a metaphor. She cuddles with real plane parts at home, sleeps beside wing panels, and speaks about the aircraft like a partner. She lives in Berlin and identifies as an objectophile, someone who forms romantic or sexual attachments to inanimate objects. And to her, the 737 isn't just metal and bolts. It's elegance, it's beauty, it's love. She rarely gets to visit a full-sized version, but every moment she does is deeply emotional. People laugh, they judge. But Michelle doesn't care. Her love is steady, unshakable. And in a world full of heartbreak and false connections, she's found something that never lies, never cheats, and never leaves the runway without her. Number 13. Luke Bohm. He's 10 years old, but Luke lives with joints that ache like an old man's. This German boy has Hutchinson-Gilford syndrome, which basically speeds up aging at a super frightening pace. By the time kids like Luke are 15, their bodies mirror those of someone in their 90s. Arteries harden, organs weaken, and time is brutally short. Luke stands just 95 centimeters tall and weighs only 12 kilograms. But his family has turned heartbreak into a mission, to give him the happiest childhood possible. His father left work to care for him full-time. His doctors in the U.S. monitor him closely, prescribing experimental treatments to slow the disease. Though his body runs like that of a 70-year-old, his spirit is pure childhood, curious, joyful, and alive. They know they don't have forever, so they celebrate now. Each day is a gift, each laugh sacred. And in a world rushing by, Luke's story reminds us to slow down and love harder. The best time never comes. Number 12. Samantha Norgart. Samantha grew up in a world that told her to sit quietly and hide, but she chose the runway instead. Diagnosed with hypotonic cerebral palsy at 1 year old, her muscles were stiff, her body unpredictable, and her speech nearly impossible until she was 21. Now 27, Samantha is a model and digital force, going by Wheelchair Blondie online. She uses social media not for likes, but for change. People think because I'm in a wheelchair, my brain must not work, she says. But her message isn't just about proving them wrong. It's about rewriting the story entirely. Through her modeling, she shows that beauty doesn't come from symmetry or stride. It comes from strength, from visibility, from saying, I'm here and I'm not shrinking. Every photo is a statement. Every post is a quiet revolution. She doesn't model to be accepted. She models to shift what accepted even means. Samantha isn't asking for space. She's claiming it, heels and all. Number 11. Aaron Wheels, Fotheringham. Aaron doesn't just use a wheelchair, he launches from it like it's built for flight. Known as Wheels, he's one of the boldest names in WCMX and holds 6 Guinness records. Born with spina bifida, his childhood was a carousel of surgeries and hospital stays. But he never saw his chair as something that held him back. It became his ride. At 14, he landed his first backflip. Since then, he's flipped off ramps, bulldozers, and skate bowls. He pulled off the world's first wheelchair front flip, double backflip, and even a 360 backflip combo that seems to defy logic. He's a living legend in extreme sports. His wife is his biggest cheerleader, though she does wish he'd dial it down sometimes. But Aaron lives for the thrill. Every crash, every scar, every moment of airtime is a chapter in the story he's still writing. I wouldn't change a thing, he says. Number 10. Tony McInn. Well now, this is insane. Tony McInn, or Tony Bark, as he's known in the pup play world, identifies as a dog. And he doesn't just wear the ears, he lives it. He walks on all fours, plays fetch, wears a custom tail, and barks with joy. Tony, 30, is transgender and lives in Los Angeles with his husband and handler, Andrew, 39. Together, they explore the deep emotional bond of pet play. For Tony, this isn't a kink, it's a return to innocence. A way to shed human stress and embrace a dog's pure, unconditional way of being. Tony says dogs feel joy like no other creature, and through this identity, he taps into something deeply healing. They attend pup play events, meet others in the community, and live proudly outside every box. He's not pretending to be something else. He's just finally living as the truest version of himself, tail, leash, and all. Number 9. Cat and Robrecht. Well, humans are the most rare and beautiful thing God has created. But some people don't love what God has given them. They fall in love with who they are not. Kat, 37, from Colorado, identifies as a cat. She's not kidding. She lives as a kitten. Mannerisms, meows, tail, and all. It's called pet play, a form of BDSM expression where Kat fully embraces her feline identity. She met her partner, Robrecht, 52, an aerospace engineer with an artistic streak, at Comic-Con. She told him up front, "I'm a cat." And instead of walking away, he leaned in. The two have been inseparable ever since, practicing pet play as part of their relationship. Kat works at Catgirl Manor, a community where others explore similar dynamics. For her, being a cat isn't a mask. It's the truest version of herself. She isn't pretending. She's finally purring in peace. And Rob? Well, he's just as happy, because when Kat's curled up, he knows she's finally home. Number 8. Amaya Stringer. Amaya Stringer came into the world with a list of conditions that most families can't even pronounce. At just 20 weeks in the womb, doctors noticed her legs weren't forming. She was born with caudal regression syndrome, which left her without legs. She also has bilateral microtia atresia, meaning her ears are misshapen and her hearing canals didn't fully form. She wears hearing aids now. Add Pierre Robin's sequence to the mix: a recessed jaw, cleft palate, trouble breathing, and eating. Within 6 weeks, she underwent tons of surgeries just to survive. But that's just the start. Every day is a team effort. Feeding tubes, therapies, sign language at home, and custom devices to help her communicate. And through it all, Amaya smiles. She plays. She finds joy. And her mother, her rock, is always there, guiding the journey. Amaya isn't defined by her medical chart. She's defined by her joy, her grit, and the dreams she carries. Number 7. Tess Daly. Tess Daly built a beauty empire in a body the world said would limit her. Born with spinal muscular atrophy type 2, she requires constant care and can't physically do most everyday tasks. But when it comes to beauty, creativity, and impact, she's unstoppable. Her blog took off for all the right reasons: honesty, humor, and jaw-dropping talent. Big brands noticed. They flew her out, sent her products before anyone else. Now signed with Alpha Talent Group, Tess is a rising force in the world of fashion and beauty. But she's not just about the makeup. She's about inclusion. She's about making space, not as charity, but as equals. Tess shows up boldly and says, "We're here, we matter, we're thriving." No obstacles have silenced her. In fact, she lives louder than ever, vibrant, driven, magnetic. She never begged for a seat at the table. She built her own, dressed it in glitter, and made it absolutely impossible to ignore. Now, let's move to number 6. Hasbulla Magomedov. Hasbulla is often mistaken for a child, but he's a 22-year-old man whose height, 99 centimeters, and 20-kilogram frame come from a growth hormone deficiency. Instead of hiding from the world, he walked straight into its spotlight. His playful confidence and quick humor turned him into an online sensation, gathering millions of followers and catching the attention of global celebrities. UFC champion Khabib Nurmagomedov affectionately nicknamed him Mini Khabib, especially after Hasbulla began mimicking his fighting moves. With fame came opportunities, including a 5-year promotional contract with the UFC. But despite the money, attention, and viral moments, Hasbulla's heart is set on something entirely different. He wants to become a theologian. That dream says more about him than any headline ever could. His goal isn't to live as an influencer forever. It's to contribute something meaningful. Beneath the jokes and the fame stands a young man whose determination reaches far beyond the limits of his body. Number 5. Nikki Freeman. At first sight, Nikki looks like a 10-year-old boy. In reality, he's over 40. He was born with hydrocephalus, a condition that causes fluid buildup in the brain, and doctors never thought he'd survive infancy. But he did, and kept going. His body aged at barely a quarter of the normal speed. By 16, his bones matched a 4-year-old's. His pituitary gland barely works. His skeleton grows inch by inch, year by year. He's blind. He didn't walk until 2. A surgery to relieve cranial pressure left him temporarily paralyzed and unable to speak, and his speech never fully returned. But he understands everything. He laughs. He expresses himself through gestures. He loves car rides, horseback riding, and the people who've stood by him. Nikki may never grow up in the traditional sense, but he's lived. He's loved. And he's proven that age is more than numbers or milestones. It's endurance. And Nikki's presence is just unforgettable. Number 4. Reshma. Back in 2014, 17-year-old Reshma was on her way to take a school exam when a man threw acid on her face. Just 1 second, and everything changed. The attack, carried out by her brother-in-law and his accomplices, was actually meant for her sister. Reshma lost an eye. Her face and neck were left deeply scarred, confidence shattered. "I thought my face was ruined," she said. The mirror became something she feared. But slowly, piece by piece, Reshma came back. She shared her story, walked runways, released a book, and stood proud at New York Fashion Week. She stopped hiding. She redefined beauty, and she refused to let hate dictate how her life would look. "Beauty isn't the face," she said. "It's having a beautiful heart and a beautiful mind." Reshma didn't just survive the pain. She rebuilt herself with grace, courage, and defiance. Her scars didn't end her story. They became the most powerful part of it. Number 3. Arya Permana. Arya Permana was just 9 when the world took notice, but not for reasons anyone would want. At 424 pounds, he was one of the heaviest children alive. Walking left him breathless. He couldn't fit in a school chair. Bathing required a custom tub in the backyard. His appetite had spiraled. 5 full meals a day, enough to feed a small family. Life slowed down. His health plummeted. He had to drop out of school. But Arya didn't stay stuck. With help from fitness coach Aditya and a full medical team, he started over. Diet changes, daily exercise. In 2017, he underwent bariatric surgery, and the weight began to fall off. He dropped over half his body weight and rediscovered freedom. But it wasn't just about size. It was about reclaiming life. Arya went from headlines to hope, from stuck to moving, from surviving to living. His body changed, but his will, that's what truly transformed. And now, he's just getting started. Number 2. Sid and Caroline Carter. When you think of twins, you imagine matching faces, equal height, a mirror image. But Sid and Caroline Carter shatter that illusion. While Sid stands at 5 feet 6 inches and lives an active, healthy life, her sister Caroline stopped growing at just 4 feet 2 inches. The reason? A rare genetic condition called McInn syndrome causes fragile bones and abnormal skin pigmentation. Caroline's had over 50 fractures and sometimes uses a wheelchair. Yet her spirit? Unbreakable. The twins were nearly identical until age 11, when the syndrome halted Caroline's growth and shifted the course of her life. Still, she never let it stop her. Rather than envy her sister's abilities, she chose purpose. She's now studying law, determined to become a lawyer for people with special needs. Caroline's journey isn't about what she can't do. It's about everything she chooses to do, with fierce love, sharp intellect, and a heart that refuses to settle for less. Number 1. Hayley O'Keens. They called her the centenarian teenager, and the nickname fit. At just 17, Hayley O'Keens had the body of someone 104, but a heart that burned brighter than most people live in a lifetime. Diagnosed with progeria at age 2, doctors said she wouldn't see her teens. She gave them 17 unforgettable years instead. Hayley didn't waste a second. She used her voice to raise awareness, wrote 2 books, and chased joy like it was her job. Campfires with friends. Her favorite band is in concert. Dreams scribbled in notebooks that she turned into memories. Her body aged fast, but her soul aged rich with wisdom, humor, and purpose. On April 2nd, 2015, she said goodbye. But she didn't leave quietly. Hayley left behind a movement, a message, and a reason to live a little more bravely. Her life was short, but never small. And in every person she inspired, she still lives, fearless, funny, and full of light. What do you think about her? If you've enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.